Hey everybody, this is Mike with Free Roaming Hiker, and in this video I'm talking to you about how to stay safe while backpacking and camping in bear country. These are all tips that have helped me stay safe for years and years backpacking and camping in bear country, and they're even recommended by both the National Park Service and the Forest Service to maximize your safety and minimize your encounters with a bear while camping in the backcountry in bear habitat. Now, if you're just day hiking in bear country, I did make another video that discusses safety tips for that. And though many of the same practices apply to both, this particular video dives a little bit deeper into some of the things you want to take into account when backpacking. First, it's important to understand why a bear would want to come to your campsite to begin with. And it's really for one reason only. It's following its nose. So really what we're going to discuss is how to keep the bear away from your campsite by minimizing the scents. Bears are basically just following their nose to food or something that smells like it might have nutritional value for them. If it doesn't smell anything at your campsite, it has no reason not to continue on to somewhere it might find a better meal. But before we get into how to secure your campsite, I'm going to just reiterate a few basic rules that you want to pay attention to while hiking in general in bear country. So first, don't play music on the trail. A, it doesn't scare a bear away like you think it might. B, it disrupts communication between smaller animals and birds in the area. And C, it annoys 99.9% of other hikers out there. Following that, don't use headphones. You need to be aware of your surroundings, i.e., hearing that branch breaking a couple of dozen yards away, or knowing what's around you without necessarily needing to see it. Next, always carry bear spray. Many people will swear by a gun of some kind, but studies have shown over and over that when used properly, bear spray is always more effective than a gun. If you're in thick brush where visibility is low, make noise. This doesn't mean screaming and banging things. You can simply talk to someone with you at a normal decibel level, or if you're alone, just a simple "hey bear," a little louder than your normal talking voice, will alert a bear to your presence. And finally, most importantly, just give a bear space. That's the only reason bears ever feel threatened, because someone is too close to them or their cub. If you see or hear a bear, just slowly and calmly back away, avoiding eye contact. So those are some basic day hiking rules to avoid an unfortunate encounter with a bear. And moving on, camping in the backcountry of bear habitat presents its own challenges. So here are some important things to remember. If you bring a stove to cook dinner and or breakfast on, don't cook near your tent and have a clean change of clothes ready. The scent from your meal will waft over not only to your clothes, but also your tent. A curious bear following its nose will want to check out what that scent is, and that's when problems can happen. So if you use a stove, change your clothes after finishing your meal and cleaning up, and cook about 100 yards away from your tent to avoid any scents catching on something you might sleep with. Similarly, either plan on hanging your pack properly from a tree or bring a bear canister. If you're hanging your pack, you'll need to bring in your own rope and know how to properly hang it. In a nutshell, it should be about 50 to 100 yards away from your tent, and the branch you hang it from should be at least 20 feet high and 6 feet out from the trunk. This will prevent a grizzly bear from reaching up for it, and it will prevent a black bear from climbing to get it, since it will be too far out for the bear to safely retrieve. If you're bringing a bear canister, make sure anything scented goes inside. This not only includes food, but also toiletries like toothpaste, as well as anything else with a scent. Properly close it, and just like with hanging your pack, keep it at least 50 yards away from your tent, ideally 100 yards, so that a bear won't connect it to you. And if you're wondering, yes, bear spray is safe to sleep with in your tent, but you don't need to keep it so close that you accidentally remove the safety while sleeping. Stashing it in a tent pocket with anything else like glasses or a headlamp is perfectly fine. And really, that's how you stay safe while backpacking and camping in bear country. It's more about just minimizing the scents, or even eliminating if you can, that are around your tent and putting them somewhere else and keeping them safe. In all the years I've been backpacking in bear country, I've only had a bear visit my campsite once while I was asleep, and that was because some idiot left toilet paper at my campsite, which a black bear came to sniff out at 5:30 a.m. And yes, I was woken up by the bear, and it came within just a couple of yards of my tent and me. But because I didn't have anything it wanted in my tent, it sniffed out the toilet paper, then continued on its way, completely uninterested in me or anything with me. Which brings me to two more points. One, pack out everything. This is practicing leave no trace principles. Leave nothing behind because you could be putting someone else's life in jeopardy if you do. Two, Check your campsite upon arrival to make sure no one left anything that a bear might be curious about. If you do find something, you can stash it in your bear canister or bear bag. And while it sucks to clean up someone else's litter, it sucks even more to be woken up by a bear sniffing around. So, camping and backpacking in bear country can be incredibly rewarding. And really, if you follow these tips, you likely won't even see a bear anywhere near your campsite. So, like I said in my previous video on the topic, bears really aren't anything to be afraid of, but they do deserve the utmost respect. When you don't respect them, that's when trouble happens. But if you play by their rules, which are essentially all the points I've made, and you give them the respect they deserve, you won't have any trouble with them because they'll smell more interesting things elsewhere. So I hope you found this video helpful and interesting, and definitely feel free to leave some comments down below if you have any other questions or concerns. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching and happy trails.